and very warm welcome to you all. I'm Neha Bharadwaj-Alter and this is Game On. Cricketer Mayank Agarwal is fine after a scary on-flight incident. What can we expect from the Vizag pitch for the second test with the pitch as well as India's batting? And with 5 months to go for Paris Olympics, how is the city gearing up? All of that coming up on the show. Let's begin with India versus England and how will India approach the second test that after losing the first test by 28 runs. That's right. England deciding to go into a test match with just one fast bowler, and Mark Wood looked like a bold but very risky move a week ago. But after taking 18 of India's 20 wickets via spin in Hyderabad, it is Bazball which has got people talking up the visitors' chances in the second test in Vizag, be it England opener Ben Duckett terming the team's first innings total of 246 as an above-par score to skipper Ben Stokes repeatedly bowling the debutant left-arm spinner Tom Hartley, even after his first over went for 16 runs, to England scoring 89 runs in 15 overs for the loss of 1 wicket when they batted a second time, to Oli Pope sweeping and reverse sweeping India spinners on the way to a monumental 196, to Hartley taking 7 wickets on day 4 to bowl England to a 28-run victory. The aggressive, always stay positive attitude of Bazball was for everyone to see. So then, what can India learn from Bazball as they seek to protect a proud home record and stop England from going up 2-0 in Vizag? Could Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid take a leaf out of Brendan McCullum's book and go in with 4 spinners and 1 pacer? Considering how Mohammad Siraj has only bowled 12 overs in the last 4 second innings of the visiting teams in home test matches, there is an argument for such a bold step. It would be a dramatic call for a captain-coach duo which has been traditionally conservative, but maybe there is merit in playing Jasprit Bumrah as the sole fast bowler and adding Kuldeep Yadav and Washington Sundar with the team. But with the batter team that does not have a lot of players who employ the sweep shot or reverse sweep that often, maybe getting some of the batters to use this approach to England's spinners is also on the cards. Dravid and Rohit both commented on how high-class Pope's innings was, with the coach going as far as to say he's never seen a visiting batter play that way in India against such quality spinners. Down 1-0 after a surprise loss in Hyderabad, India have to do something bold to counter Bazball. The question is, do they have the courage to? What do you all think? Do let us know in the comment section below. Now, while England's head coach Brendan McCullum has spoken of how he's pondering an all-spin attack for the tourists in the second test starting in Vizag on Friday, for Rohit Sharma's Team India, the question is how to counter spin and what kind of surface this match will be played on. Vizag has hosted just 2 test matches, one in 2016, another in 2019. And in these 2 games, there was a bit of everything. Virat Kohli, Cheteshwar Pujara, they scored centuries here. Mayank Agarwal got a double century and Rohit marked his first test as opener with centuries in both innings of the same match. With the ball, Ravichandran Ashwin, he managed 2 5-wicket hauls there. Now, Ravindra Jadeja got a 4-wicket haul and Mohammad Siraj has taken 5 in an innings. But after the loss in Hyderabad, can we expect similar pitches as seen in 2016 and 2019? Or will India opt for something different in Vizag this time around? Looking at the Hyderabad pitch for the first test against England, it was arguably the most truest wicket India have played on since 2019. Because while there was some turn on offer, batting was actually easier on days 2 and 3 as opposed to the first day when the ball was hurrying onto England's batters. And the final day when some variable bounce undid India's lineup against the debutant left-arm spinner Tom Hartley. There were runs on offer, as we saw when India batted the first time, and plenty for the pacers and spinners, which was a departure from the kind of tracks India have played on by and large at home since 2021, when England last visited 3 years ago. After losing to England on a flat track in Chennai, India switched to a mix of unprepared wickets and square turners and won the next 3 tests of that series. Last year's BGT It saw the first three matches also played on spinning tracks before the final test in Ahmedabad was hastily played on a lifeless surface to ensure a draw for India and thus a series win. Playing on turning wickets is a risk India would not want to take in Vizag, and asking for a batting deck would play right into Bazball's hands. In all likelihood, one can imagine that the team management would want to play on a track with some runs on it, especially on days 1 and 2, and one which will then progressively get slower. So let's also take a look at the record in Vizag. I just alluded to it in this story just before this. How have India done in Vizag? They played 2 test matches here at this venue and have won both the games. The first of which came against England in 2016 and the second one was in 2019 against South Africa. In the first game, India beat England by 246 runs, where Virat Kohli was the man of the match, having scored a sublime 167 in the first innings and followed it up with a valuable 81 in the second innings while the ball was turning square. With Kohli, Ravichandran Ashwin, he picked up 5 wickets in the first innings to help India give a massive lead and chipped in with 3 wickets in the second innings to see India take a 1-0 lead in the 5-match series. Then, you talk about the second game. That was against South Africa in 2019. The hosts thrashed them by 206 runs. Opener Rohit Sharma scored centuries in both innings coming in. In the first innings, he made 176. In the second one, he scored counter-attacking 127. Once again, Ashwin was the star with the ball, taking 8 wickets in that match. Now, on to a scary story. Indian cricketer and Karnataka captain Mayank Agarwal had been admitted to the ICU in Agartala after an in-flight emergency. He reportedly drank water from a bottle kept in front of him in the seat pocket on the Indigo flight. After a few minutes, he felt his throat was itching and he had the urge to vomit consequently. He rushed to the washroom near the cockpit and informed the air hostess. The air hostess rang the emergency bell, checked if there was any doctor available on the flight. Unfortunately, there was no doctor, so the pilot was informed and a message was sent to the airport authority. Doctors came to see him at the airport, but they said they couldn't provide first aid there and he needed to be hospitalized. So an ambulance arrived. He was taken to the hospital where he was treated for ulcers and oral irritation, and he will be discharged, in fact, on today evening. He will be given some injections that will keep him pain-free for the duration of his travel back to Bengaluru, where he's expected to check into a private hospital for further investigations. A medical bulletin issued by the hospital on Tuesday evening said Agarwal was experiencing some oral irritation and swelling on the lips. And the Karnataka team manager, he issued a written complaint on Agarwal's behalf to the Tripura police requesting an investigation into the incident. The SP, Tripura West, K. Kiran Kumar, he told PTI on Tuesday that while sitting on a flight, he saw a pouch in front of him and thinking of it as water, he drank it. And he started getting swelling and ulcers in his mouth. His condition is normal and his vitals are stable. His managers made a complaint where he said, we're registering a complaint and we'll investigate the matter. Agarwal himself, as you could see earlier on, has shared an update on social media. He shared 2 photographs of himself lying on the hospital bed. And he posted the caption, "I'm feeling better now, gearing to come back. Thank you for your prayers, love and support." While it's not yet ascertained what was in the pouch, Agarwal will not be able to speak for 48 hours due to those ulcers and swelling in his mouth. He will miss Karnataka's next Ranji Trophy game against Railways that starts in Surat from 2nd of February. That's a scary story, but fortunately, he is going to be fine. Okay, now on to football. Mo Salah is back with Liverpool after his national team Egypt crashed out of the African Cup of Nations football competition. But the star striker, who is jointly leading the Premier League scorers tally for the season with Erling Haaland, will not be able to join action as Liverpool play Anfield later today.
Mohamed Salah will be sidelined for 2 games due to a muscle injury. League leaders Liverpool will be without their injured talisman for their match against Chelsea at Anfield later today and then against Arsenal on Sunday. Reds coach Jurgen Klopp confirmed that the team will wait for him to be fully fit.
It's another one of these stories. So there was no pressure in it besides the fact that you want to get fit as quick as possible anyway. So, but we cannot rush. If we could rush a healing process, believe me, Thiago wouldn't have been out for 10 months, and all the other guys, they would have been much better. It's not possible. You just do what you can do, and while you're doing that, we from the outside, we have to wait until they're ready. Mo's not ready for this game, not ready for the next game. And they're not. So he's injured. I'm not sure if that was a misunderstanding in the beginning. He's injured, and the muscle injury takes time, and it could have been much worse. But he's not available.
Salah is Premier League's joint top scorer this season with Manchester City's Erling Haaland on 14 goals each. He had suffered a hamstring injury in Egypt's 2-2 draw with Ghana at the Africa Cup of Nations on January 18 and returned to Merseyside for treatment.
There was no pressure in it besides the fact that you want to get fit as quick as possible anyway. So, but we cannot rush. If we could rush a healing process in a moment, it's just doing his rehab.
The 56-year-old Klopp announced on Friday that he would leave Liverpool at the season's end.
No, I don't think so, but it's completely normal, and that was always clear. When we spoke about, I said what I had to say, and then it was always clear that the outside world will not give you a second to process it, to think about it. It's just the next thing is, what are you doing? So a week ago, or whenever nobody knew about my decision, it was he had 18 months on a contract, 18 months, nobody asked. So give us a break, give the boys the and of course it's about, and if I'm here, we need to create a perspective and all these kind of things and what's happening next and stuff like this. That's completely normal. Nobody has to worry.
Imagine playing football at 13,000 feet or 4,000 meters. Yes, football authorities in Bolivia are seeking stadium accreditation for one of the highest football stadiums in the world. The Stadium El Alto in Bolivia is situated at an altitude of 13,000 feet. The authorities have sought a green signal from the South American football governing body to host international FIFA matches. Officials from Football Confederation CONMEBOL inspected the Via Ingenio Stadium to confirm whether the venue meets the conditions to host international club matches. The stadium, located 4,090 meters above sea level, was nominated by the Always Ready team to host Copa Libertadores games after it had qualified for South America's top tournament. Playing at Bolivia's high altitudes with its thin air has seen, in fact, some of South America's strongest teams come unstuck against the home side. A decision on the stadium's accreditation will be announced in 2 weeks, according to the Bolivian Soccer Federation. On to tennis. An Australian Open champion, Jannik Sinner, is enjoying a hero's status back home after winning the Tennis Grand Slam trophy. In fact, for the first time in Italy, or an Italian has won that trophy in 48 years. After reaching Rome on Tuesday, Sinner visited Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. The 22-year-old won the first Grand Slam of the year on Sunday. He'd bounced back from a 2-set deficit to beat Russian pro Daniil Medvedev 3-6, 3-6, 6-4, 6-4, 6-3 in the final. In the semi-finals, Sinner had stunned defending champion Novak Djokovic in what was another marathon battle. The young Italian hails from the German-speaking Alpine region of South Tyrol. He initially practiced skiing before switching to focus on tennis in his youth.
Perché a quel punto stavamo tutti così, così immobili. È più bello viverlo in quel momento.
At that time for us to slip into a short break. When we return, sports news continues here on Newsline, so stay with us.
हमारी नारी शक्ति को सशक्त करने से ही देश सशक्त होने वाला है।
हर महीने महिलाओं को 1500 रुपए प्रति माह दिलवाया जाएगा।
What Nitish Kumar did to provide cycle to girls, so they could safely, quickly move out of the house, go to school and quickly come back. Tring, 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 tring.
माँ अन्नपूर्णा तू ही, माँ अन्नपूर्णा है तू ही वीणा वादनी, हे शक्ति स्वरूपा जगदम्बा, हे नारी तू नारायणी.
News is now content. Just stream it. Download the world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
Now, this is a story of grace and resilience. Twins Marina and Vladislava Alexieva had won bronze in artistic swimming at the Tokyo Olympic Games 3 years ago. But since then, they've been forced to flee their homes. They've survived shelling and they've slept in bomb shelters. Despite the hardships, these girls now are determined to convert the color of their medal to gold in Paris.
Twin sisters Marina and Vladislava Alexieva are among Ukraine's best hopes of a gold medal at the Paris Olympics. They had won the bronze in artistic swimming at the Tokyo Games 3 years ago. As synchronized swimmers, Marina and Vladislava are used to wearing smiles on their face no matter what. But the trials that the 22-year-old twins have been put through have tested even their stoicism. Battle-hardened girls had to flee their homes. They survived shelling and slept in bomb shelters. They even had to jump out of the pool and run to the basement in wet swimsuits when the explosions got too close.
War started and we was in Kharkiv. It was very big explosion, destroyed every buildings, our pool also, so we must leave our hometown, leave our parents, relatives, and we maybe 2 months we always read the news, we don't cry, we can sleep.
Sisters had to leave their hometown Kharkiv 2 years ago as Russian tanks had reached the suburb. While being evacuated, they couldn't even get their sparkly costumes with them. Their desire for an Olympic gold has compelled them to stay away from family and friends, as all facilities back home are destroyed in Russian attacks. Even as the Ukrainian army had pushed the Russian troops back from Kharkiv, the environment for the elite swimmers is not ideal to train for an Olympic gold. Back home, the bombings and shellings were a horrifying experience.
For now, it's like we have one goal, we must go for this. We must do everything what we can.
The twins find it hard to focus on training when they hear bomb blasts during phone calls with their parents back home. They are enduring it all, finding ways and means to maintain their smiles and keep themselves going. A medal in Paris would be the perfect balm for all that Marina and Vladislava have been put through to keep the sport going.
Now, many athletes or fans will be able to speak or understand French when they are in Paris for the Olympic Games this summer. So if you're planning to go for the Games and do not understand a word of French, do not fret. The transport authorities in Paris have come up with a solution for the visitors in case they get lost. Watch this for more.
How can I go to the Stadium of France?
كيفاش نقدر نمشي للستاد دو فرانس؟
올림픽에 막시게 가려면 어떻게 해야 되나요?
As Paris welcomes the world for the Olympics this summer, the city's public transport system, known as RATP, will be using artificial intelligence to help thousands of international visitors navigate through the capital. The handheld Tradivia device can translate between French and 16 different languages, including Mandarin, Arabic and Korean, with text appearing on a screen as well as being read out loud. The RATP will provide more than 3,000 agents with this device, ready to assist all international visitors. RATP representative Grégoire de Lastarie.
The goal for us in Ile-de-France Mobilité is for them to travel in the best possible conditions, and therefore being able to speak to them in as many languages as possible and helping them find their way in Paris is extremely important.
Metro workers like Raphael Gazette say the device gives them more confidence.
We no longer have this fear of thinking we're not going to understand each other. Here, we know straight away, with regard to the languages, to press straight on Hindi and immediately have clear, more precise information, and we can be sure that when the visitors leave, they are satisfied.
The service will remain in Paris after the Games, which will be held from July 26th to August 11th.
So, Olympic Games in Paris, they are to begin on 26th of July and they'll go on till 11th of August. They will clash with the holiday season in France. Police unions are worried about the working conditions during the Games and the Paralympics a month later. They've been protesting for better pay and guaranteed holiday leave and childcare after the Games. On Tuesday, the policemen got some good news. Officers deployed during the Paris Olympics will receive bonuses of up to 2,050 American dollars. French Interior Minister Gérald Darmanin made the announcement yesterday. Darmanin has written to the police staff that employees from the Interior Ministry would receive an exceptional bonus for working during the security operation that is unprecedented in scale for France. Tens of thousands of police officers, thousands of soldiers and private security staff will be deployed during the Games. The staff who limit their summer leave for the Olympics will receive a bonus of 1,080 American dollars to compensate for their mobilization. This incentive will rise to 1,730 American dollars if they work in area hosting an Olympic event. And staff deployed in the Paris region, Paris Airport, Border Police and International Transport Services will get an extra $320. Darmanin said he wants 100% of staffers to be mobilized from July 24th to August 11th, but promised that outside this period, every employee will be guaranteed at least 2 weeks off in the period from 15th of June to September 15th. Now, over 15,000 athletes from 206 countries will be in Paris for the Olympic Games this summer. This will require around 40,000 meals every day. 1,000 people will work round the clock to prepare 550 dishes. Those are mind-boggling numbers. Let's take a look at the preparations.
Chef Charles Gouloy's lentil dal is one of 550 dishes that will be served to the 15,000 athletes at the Paris Olympics, where up to 40 tons of food will be cut up and cooked daily with regard to many different tastes and cultures.
We are going to make a green lentil dal, locally sourced green lentils, which will be served with a skyr, a rich in protein yogurt, a coriander and a lime skyr, and we will have a little corn oil to add a little crunch.
Gouloy is the chef executive at Sodexo Live. The company is in charge of delivering meals 24/7 in the athletes' village just north of Paris. Will head a 300-strong team which will be tasked with feeding people from 206 countries.
For the Paris 2024 Games, we are going to welcome the world at our table, and so for us, it's just great to be able to work on this kind of product. Of course, what was complicated was understanding the fact that there will be 15,000 athletes, 40,000 meals a day, since our objective is to participate in the performance of the athletes.
Sodexo Live has provided meals for athletes at the French Open Tennis as well as those at the French National Institute of Football. Around 25% of ingredients used in the preparation of the meals would be locally sourced. On top of that, a bakery will open and athletes will be invited to workshops to make their own baguettes. The service will start on July 10, 16 days before the Olympic Games begin, and will end on September 12, 4 days after the completion of the Paralympics.
This is not a menu. We are really dealing with a colossal task with 550 recipes over the period of the Games. And of course, when coming up with these 550 recipes, we have taken into account the different intolerances and allergies, the ethnic, cultural and religious cuisines. These are the things that we have taken into account, along with the gluten-free, lactose-free products and, of course, halal and kosher.
To provide all the meals, Gouloy said 1,000 people would work around the clock at the village. Some 40 different dishes for serving about 40,000 meals will be on offer every day. Nutritionists will also be deployed to help athletes who don't have the means to hire their own.
With that, time for us to wrap this bulletin up, but just before we go, he made Indian batters dance to his tunes in the debut test match in India with an exceptional 7-wicket haul. And now we're leaving you with this undated video of Tom Hartley dancing to Whitney Houston, "I Want to Dance with Somebody," which is now his chant given to him by the Barmiyadi. Goodbye.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है मनी 9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
How do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for women? And what is the inability of the forces that dead bodies surface but not the living people?
Currently, the industry is facing a lot of challenges as far as demand is concerned. Basically, the US markets has slowed down because of high inflation.
So obviously, diamonds being a dream product, something which doesn't have a utility value or is seen as a luxury. So that obviously goes off your shopping list. That's the first item that will go off your shopping list, especially in recessionary trends.
The lab-grown diamonds are not mined, and they do away with the entire mining. So they save up on all the environmental damage that is associated with mining, and of course, the mining cost, which is why they're even more affordable.
People that is impacted by all these recessions are the artisans, are the people who work in this industry, right? But I think lab-grown diamond has allowed them to actually use their skills in the same product.
This and more streaming on world's first news OTT, News 9+. Download now.
A defiant performance by Ten Hag's men. Now standing at 7 feet 4 inches, Satnam Singh is making his way into professional wrestling.
We are getting more good news for India.
वर्ष 2070 तक भारत नेट जीरो का लक्ष्य हासिल करेगा।
There is certainly a wall of capital coming into the clean tech, climate tech space, not just in India but across the world.
This and more streaming on world's first news OTT, News 9+. Download now.
20,000 people dead and counting. What's happening in the United States of America is unprecedented. You will have to pay for this.
what biryani is in different parts of the country is only in the past 150 years which we hear about it. The two words birya and birinj, fried rice, true, are of Persian origin. But obviously biryani is far, far superior, sublime than any fried rice.
In India, the biryani is traveling from north to south, east to west.